Hey, what's up? This is Ike Love and creating author of the blog The Viable Alternative, which is an inspirational blog where I share the wisdom and insights gained along my path of becoming a greater, stronger version of myself. If you want to read more on the blog and you're on YouTube, you can click under the window where it says Show More, and you'll see a link for www.theviablealternative.com, which has a bunch of my wisdom and insights, just learning to become a greater, stronger version of myself. You get a whole bunch of my foibles and stuff like that. And I'll also be coming out soon with an ebook, free ebook, just to about building your own. I mean, we'll talk about this more later as I release it. Anyway, today's topic of discussion is directed to incels. And incels, there is hope for you. Now, if you're not an incel and you're watching this, an incel is basically means involuntary celibate. Basically, guys who cannot get laid. And you know, incels have been in the news recently because several have just gone completely postal and been killing people because they're angry because they can't get girls. One dude in Toronto or somewhere in Canada took it upon himself to get into his car and drive on the sidewalk and basically mow people down. And then years ago, there was another dude who basically psychotically opened fire in a health club and killed several people in the gym. And then we know the famous Elliot Rodger, who basically, after several of his psycho manifestos promising revenge against the world, he literally made good in his promise and killed, I think, about 14 people back in 2014 in somewhere in California. And then also you see them, if you go to Reddit forums, I think they were kicked off of Reddit because of their violent statements and threats of violence. But if you go on other forums, you see incels and the culture of incels, men coming together to commiserate about women. Um, they call women femoids, and they call the genetically gifted male who basically, the whole saying that 20% of men are tapping 80% of the women, which is more or less true. They call them Chads, or the black version of a Chad is a Tyrone. And then you have the Stacys, which is a very, very good looking woman. And then people who are just normal, who normally get laid and have no problem getting laid, they're called normies. And I forgot what they use. A cuck is some. I forgot what a cuck is. I forgot what they use for the cuck. But basically speaking, they're enraged. And if you're an incel and you're watching this, I completely understand your rage because at one time I was an incel. I mean, I was an incel before the word incel came around, and I was an enraged, embittered, angry man because women were not very nice to me when I was growing up. In all colors, people say, "Oh, black girls have attitudes," and this and that. No, all girls, black, white, Asians, Latina, they were all not nice to me at all growing up. In my teens, I had severe cystic acne, and a lot of girls called me ugly, and they were just very bitchy to me growing up. And as I got older, and I became very enraged towards them, especially when I got into college, and I hung out with a lot of friends who were really good with women. They were good-looking guys. They were charming, charismatic, and you know, it just enraged me because I felt like I was on the outside looking in. I felt like there was a big party going on and the world was conspiring to keep me out, and this just completely enraged me. And I remember having these sayings, these psychotic sayings called Ikeisms, which were spewing my hate towards people. Not necessarily women, but people in general. I hated people. I proudly exclaimed my hate towards people. And I remember even at nights when I was, I had friends, which was partly probably kept me from killing myself or killing other people. I had friends, so, I had normal discourse and discussion to bounce to talk towards so that, keep all the, I don't know, the psychosis down. You know what I'm saying? You hang around with people who are normal, they kind of level you out. But you had people like Elliot Rodger who just had no friends and had himself to talk to, and so it became a vicious cycle until it hit a fever pitch, and he went just postal and killed people and killed himself. But I remember, friends inviting me out certain weekends, and I'd basically be like, "No, f this, I hate people," and I would sit in my room wishing the ceiling would collapse and kill everybody at the party. I was literally crazy. And another friend who was also an incel with me, I grew up with him. Um, we used to talk about attacking happy couples in parks, and when we get really depressed, we talk about becoming serial killers. I mean, I was nuts, even though I would never do that. I mean, the worst I would do in my worst days was kill myself, which I thought of. I never thought of going postal and like uh, open fire in a crowded mall. You know what I mean? But so listen, I get it. I get your pain. It's angering. It's you feel emasculated. Because you associate your manliness with getting sex, getting girls. Um, I did get with a couple of girls, but still, I just really, compared to the success of my friends, my success was abysmal. And really, I just failed a lot. I just was a miserable, angry person. So, yeah, I understand your pain. But let me just tell you, I mean, if I can get out of this, so can you. Um, if I can get out of it, really, literally, so can you. And how I slowly started getting out and becoming an incel. Number one, well, I hit rock bottom. I remember in my sophomore year of college, I stopped going to class and became severely depressed and was setting dates for my suicide. And luckily, I lied to my mom. I didn't tell my mom I was planning to kill myself. I mean, she would have freaked out. But she knew I was depressed and just, totally miserable. And she suggested I go to the school shrink, which I did. And that slowly kind of started, because I had someone to talk to, started like unraveling the I would say it started unraveling the what do I say, the inertia, the momentum of my just depression, and my feeling sorry for myself. And I remember going back home for the summer after school. My grades were pathetic. And I remember hanging out with friends of mine who were really, really good women. They were friends of mine from college. This is like the first time I really started hanging out with them hard. And they were all good-looking guys. They all got girls. Um, and as I would hang out with them, I really started hitting up the clubs, and I would hang out, and I would see them talk to girls, and you know, seeing them do it over and over again, like certain things start to click in my head. I still thought they were genetically gifted and they were just better than me, and I just had to make do what I had. But over the course of time, as I started meeting people through them, I noticed something very interesting. I noticed that each of my friends that were good with women, they all had their own unique style. Like they had their own unique way of talking to girls, like their own gifts that made them good with women. I mean, no two were the same. One guy was very quiet and would let the woman come to him. Another guy like was just had the gift of gab, and I mean he can sell ice to an Eskimo. I remember he used to be such a good BS. He used to get us free into clubs. I still don't know how he did it. Another friend of mine who was just a really huge pretty boy, just a blatant player. And he was like, take it or leave it. I'm a player, and girls just flocked to him, and the ones that knew he was a player and weren't into players stayed away from him. And then I had other friends who were just smooth, really just, I mean, beyond just being like a salesperson type of person, that were just like, they had like a swagger about them, And noticing, that was the first thing I noticed, their style. And I noticed that when they would approach girls, sometimes a girl will be into one of them, but not into the other. Like they'll be into one, but not the other. Like because one guy wasn't their type, but they'll be the other type. So a light bulb went off in my head, and for the first time in my life, I saw, wait a minute, man. Every one of these guys are good with women because of their own unique gifts, and they have their own unique style about them. So I'm a unique individual. Like if I went and harnessed my own gifts, what will my successful woman turn up like? And what type of girls would I attract? Because I noticed also, I mean, each of them had like their own little spin on the type of girls they liked, So I said to myself, like, what are my gifts? And what would I look like if I were to take these gifts, develop them, and have successful women? Like, what type of woman would I attract? What woman would like me due to me attracting them with my gifts? And for the first time in my life, I realized, wait a minute, it's not so bad being different. It's not so bad. Like I thought you were supposed to fit in, but I realized that actually it's it's to your benefit for you to stand out, because that's when you can attract your own unique greatness. And for the first time in my life, that was when I said to myself, wow, I just want to develop me, my own unique self. Yeah, and it started me untying the cords and me feeling sorry for myself. Um, and then, but the problem was, I still was a little resentful. Well, okay, so yeah, so that happened. I started becoming, and I started trying to find my own unique style and things I like to do. But the only thing is, I still wasn't having the success I wanted with women. And the problem with that was because why that was because I still was waiting for the world to give me permission to be successful with women. I was waiting for them to give me the permission, and the world wasn't giving it to me. I wanted someone to come down and be like, "Yo, Ike, you're a good-looking dude. You can get the girls and blah blah blah. But that never happened to me. And so finally, summer went to fall, fall went to winter. The new year came along, and I was so excited about the new year. I wrote down my goals for the new year and how I wanted to change my game. And at a certain point, I decided to myself, the world's not ever going to give me permission. Screw all the world. I give myself the permission to be successful. I give my own self. And you know what, man? I'm going to use this momentum of giving my own self the permission. I'm going to use that to be my big FU to the whole world who, told me in the past that I was ugly or a loser or couldn't get girls or blah, blah, blah. And then I started taking action, and that is when my life started to change. That is when my life literally started to change. And I slowly, I went through the failures. I still got this, but so did all my friends. And finally, I learned my own style. And a year after I was sitting in a dorm room, depressed and suicidal, literally speaking, was like a different world, I had my own success. Even the guys I looked up to, I would have my own success was different. They'd be like, wow, that never happened to me, So what I'm saying, though, is if a guy like me can have success with women, so can you. But you have to do a couple of things first. And, you can't argue with me because you've never been with women. I've been with women, and I came from the bottom. So I'll tell you certain things to do that you will need just as a baseline to get yourself on the starting block. The first one is to completely delete your accounts on an incel forum. Completely get away from that whole friggin' cluster, F-U-C-K, that cluster. I don't want to curse in my video, but you know what I'm saying. Get away from that whole cluster of miserable people who are sitting there feeling sorry for themselves, yet have no idea about women. Get away from them, close down that account, because the problem is that you guys are just commiserating and you're just feeling the momentum of misery and it's getting you nowhere at all. And they living in this world. None of them socialize. None of them go out. And yet they claim to know everything about women with no success. And I'll tell you, beyond me just even getting with women, I have female friends who honestly tell me the truth. I met with girls that tell me that they've been guys that weren't that good looking, but it was their personality that got them. Or, man, women are human beings. So first of all, get off, insult at me. Whatever thing that you are, get the hell off that thing. And then I want you now to take a good inventory about who you are and literally just start to think about your gifts, your hobbies, your passions, things you like to do, things you've always wanted to do, but you were too busy on your incel forums feeling sorry for yourself, and literally really start to pursue things that you really, really want to do. And you know what will give you the permission to do that? You yourself. And if you feel, oh, the world doesn't do this, the world won't let me in, your big F you to the world, instead of you wanting to kill people, your big F you to the world is you being successful. Think about every person that told you couldn't do something in life because you were this, and that. And imagine you now showing them up by you doing the things you want to do in life and you living the life that you want to live and you going after the things you feel you deserve. So you go start doing the things that you really want to do. I don't know if you like to do cooking. I don't know, really, if that's a passion for yours, there's no shame in that. You can't afford to go to culinary school. Go watch YouTube videos and just start putting recipes together, cook, whatever, If you like to draw, whatever, start drawing. If you like to write. Just commit yourself to doing something consistently. And I'm going to tell you, and also, like I said, forget about your lack of successful woman. Just learn now to how to become a self-contained unit by making yourself happy. And I'll also add if you're really, 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 really down in doldrums and depressed, go see a therapist. Talk to somebody, a counselor, therapist, someone that you can talk to, that you can really like just help you just be another brain into your life, so they could give you an external view about how you see things. Not anybody sells on me, but like a good psychologist or therapist or counselor or something like that. Do that in conjunction with you getting your life together, finding out things you like to do, going to the gym, work out, and just completely just work on you. You know what I mean? Think about an ideal you, and just completely work on that. Like, work towards achieving that. It doesn't have to be built in a day. Because Rome was not built in a day. But just take gradual steps. And you're going to find, in a holistic way, in an organic way, that you're slowly going to start to feel better about yourself. You're going to start feeling better about yourself. You're going to start having a new lease on life. I also will tell you to start stepping out of your comfort zone. And I'm not saying step out of your comfort zone like you try to swim the English Channel or something like that. No, do small steps out of your comfort zone. Not something that's challenging to you, but it's not going to overwhelm your fear. And you do that consistently, you're going to start to create a strong bond with your own true self. And that's going to start to make you feel better about yourself. And as you feel better about yourself, you're going to be able to hold your head up higher, your posture, because confidence cannot be faked. Confidence cannot be faked. It is there or it isn't. A lot of people try to huff their face and fake it till you make it. No, you're either confident or you're not. And you become confident by demonstrating to yourself continual competence. And then you start to love yourself by treating yourself properly and honoring yourself by doing things that you love to do. And through this whole process, you're going to start to see the world differently. And you're going to start holding yourself up high. And because you're going to be building momentum, you're going to want to try and do more things and more things and more things. It's going to make you more confident. Now, if you have no friends, as you're building this momentum, as you're starting to like yourself, you're going to naturally start now wanting to go venture out and meet people. And due to your activities, you may start to meet people you have a mutual friendship with. Some of these people you meet are going to be good with women. If not, if you don't meet anybody like that, there are also a lot of forums online, dating forums, dating sites that people get together and they go out and meet girls. And you're going to find people that are generally better than you, and you start to learn from them. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't even worry about girls yet. I would just focus on making friends and starting to build an active social life. And usually the best way to meet friends, like I said, is to do things like hobbies or activities you like to do, and you meet people there, and you just, you'll have a natural connection. You know what I mean? And as you start to build a social self, you're going to start to be happier. You're going to start to be more socially savvy. And through that, you're going to start to become more attractive. You're going to start to become more attractive. And now, you're going to start to become more attractive, not only to other men, and not only men in terms of like your homosexuality. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but you know what I'm saying. Not in terms of men liking you, want to hit on you. I'm talking about people who generally think you're cool and want to be friends with you and want to hang out with you or want to socialize with you. So I'm going to come back to this, and I'm going to give you a thing about women. The way you are now, the reason why you cannot attract women now is because you are miserable people. I couldn't attract women because I was a miserable person. Who the hell wants to be around another miserable person? The way you are, I mean, it's such a really self-fulfilling prophecy. You're sitting in on your forums and you're commiserating about women and saying, calling them femoids and how much you hate women and this and that and so on and so forth. Name any type of sane woman who wants to be with that or be with someone like that. Women, generally speaking, the healthy woman, which you want. You do not want a psycho woman. You want a healthy woman. Wants a healthy man who likes women. They want a healthy man who has his own life together, and that's not going to completely smother them with neediness. They want a guy who has his own stuff going on, so they can be a part of that life and share that life with you. You know what I mean? So you have to the first development to become an attractive woman is start to become an attractive person. And when you become an attractive person, you are now making the field ripe for a woman to join that. So the next thing you have to do is you have to now go out and socialize and start slowly talking to women. And I mean, I'm not a dating coach, but if you want a dating coach or you go on these dating sites, you'll see a whole bunch of bunch of stuff about out there about how to properly attract women. You're definitely not going to learn in incel boards. But anyway, when you go out to meet women, I mean, the first thing you have to, basic rules is this. Number one, many, I think that believe a lot of incels are incels because they're afraid of rejection from women. They think you rejected once, then you become a loser. You're a loser, and that reflects who you are. But let me tell you, even the best men, the best, most, the best, most successful men with women get rejected. Everybody gets rejected. Everybody fails. The only people who don't fail are the people who don't do anything or people that are dead. And certainly you do not want to be dead because there's a whole beautiful world to live. And certainly you don't want to sit down and do anything because you get more of what you have. So in order for you to be successful, you have to take action. And, you know, there's a phrase that says the person who stands his head above the person who stands his head above a crowd is the one that's more likely to be hit with tomatoes. If you're going to put yourself out there, you are going to be rejected. Get over it. The fact of the matter is that rejection builds perseverance and character, and if you decide to persist through the rejection, you're going to become stronger in the core, and you're going to learn something. You just have to set your parameters realistically. Instead of going out, and if you're an incel, you never had an experience with a woman, you're like, well, I'm going to get laid tonight. No, don't have that overreaching objective. Just have an objective of talking to several women. You know, make yourself have little victories so that you can build that step on the ladder of confidence, and then you go for the next level to the next level to the next level, you know. And slowly but surely, you're going to see all these different views that you've picked up from the incels forum being shattered. You're going to find out that women are not necessarily these horrible, bitchy creatures. Some are, but they're miserable people. But you're going to find many are not. They're really cool people. So some play games. But, you know, it is what it is. You're going to find out that you're going to see fairly not attractive broke dudes who pull girls. You're going to see guys who are very good looking that can't get girls. You know, you're going to find guys that use lines that you don't think should work that will work with women. You know, you're going to see a whole thing that's going to shatter your current reality, which is what you want. Because you get your current reality shattered, you can now see a new reality that will allow for your success. All right? But stop thinking that things are hopeless. Now, another thing I want you to do also is you got to stop thinking about women as objects. And I think objectifying them is also putting them on a pedestal like they're these perfect beings that can never do no wrong. You know, that's very uncomfortable to a lot of women. A woman does not want a guy who puts him on an artificial pedestal of these beings that do no wrong. Because, I mean, yeah, you may think them as perfect, but that's being objectifying them. They're human beings with feelings, with insecurities, with worries, and things like that. You know, and the fact of the matter is that when you come objectifying them, they can feel that off of you. They don't want any parts of you. What you want to do is see women as human beings with feelings, and what will help is become friends with several women. Put yourself in the friend zone purposely. You know, don't want anything from the woman. Yeah, she may be attracted, whatever, but just put her in the friend zone, become friends with her, and she's going to start to tell you about guys she likes. And you're going to see some of these guys. Yeah, she may think she's hot and good looking, but you may look at this guy and be like, this guy's not that good looking. You know, the fact of the matter is with women is that, you believe it or not, women are not about looks. Sure, they may find a guy that's good looking, and looks get you in the door, but it's all about how you connect to a woman emotionally, how you make a woman feel emotionally. Listen, we are animals too. And there's a mating dance. Just like there's a mating dance between the buffalo and the lion and the deer and the peacock, there's a mating dance between men and women. Just like there's certain buttons within us that get us attracted to a woman, believe it or not, we each have our own unique blueprint of what type of woman we attract. So is women. There are certain buttons you push a woman to get a woman attracted to you. You just have to learn what they are. And believe it or not, looks can get you into the door, but they're not going to get you the girl. You have to bring other stuff to the table. And many things that work are humor, intelligence, being a good conversationalist, being a kind person, not a nice person, but a kind person. A person who's generally kind because he wants to be kind, not nice because you want to get something from her. They're like confidence, like assertiveness. They're like different things. You know, I've seen some really dorky guys get certain girls because that's the type of guy that they like, and they were able to push certain buttons that made the woman attracted to them. And this is not to objectify a woman. I'm just saying that pushing buttons is just that, again, we're animals, all of us. And there are certain things that, like I said, codes that are basically programmed within us that cause us to be attracted to the opposite sex. So what I'm saying though is that you have to get to know women and know that women are not as into looks as men. And if you have a couple of female friends, you're going to learn, generally speaking, if you read in between the lines and listen to them, what generally attracts them. And you use that to now go out and learn how to attract women. But it's not hopeless. Really, seriously, I beg you to stop seeing yourself as hopeless. I could have sworn to you that I was a hopeless bastard years ago when I was an incel. But frankly speaking, a year later, when I stopped, a year later after I had that whole revelation and chain of events that got me to learn how to pull girls, I was sometimes be almost practically pinching myself because I was like, yeah, I can't believe that this is me. Trust me. I literally freaking sometimes will sit back and have these these out of body moments and be like, wow, is this me in this situation? I would have never imagined this, So what I'm saying is that, literally speaking, man up. And I'm giving you some stuff. Man up. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. The reason you cannot pull girls is because you do not understand women. You think you do, but you don't. And this is why you have this cycle of failure. Also know that stop objectifying women. Think about women as actual human beings. And as shocking as it is, they're human beings. And also realize that you're not entitled to sex. Women do not owe you sex. You're not entitled to it. I want you to start taking responsibility and look at for your own self and realize that maybe you're not able to attract the woman you want and have the success you want is because you just haven't are clueless about what it takes to attract a woman. Completely clueless. And that's okay. There are many things that we're all clueless about, Many things we're all clueless about. Even these famous celebrities, you see them excel in a certain thing. There are certain other areas of life they're not clueless about. You have to learn whatever area that you are deficient in, that you want to get good with. You have to learn and take the time to learn. And it takes time, But you are not a hopeless cause. You're not a lost cause. You're only a lost cause if you think you're a lost cause. Then you're a lost cause if you don't want to even take responsibility for your actions. But really speaking, if you listen to what I say, you will be fine. But there's nothing inherently wrong with you, And this is all I have to say, Anyway, I gotta go. I'm freaking starving and it's late. I just came back from the gym. Anyway, if you want to read more on my blog, go to www.theviablealternative.com. You can also follow me on Twitter, TheViableWalt. If you like what I had to say, please click the subscribe button and click on like, and please share. Share it to your other incel friends. They might call me a cuck, or what do you call this? Is that a cuck? What is another word you guys use? But trust me, I literally was an incel. I was an incel at one time, and I was furious at the world, and things have changed for me. I have a lot of female friends. Am I pulling girls like a rock star? No, but I don't really care because I like my life and I don't want drama in my life. And you also find, and I got to go after this, you also find that once you have sex, sex is great and all that, but you're going to realize, at the end of the day, you can have all the sex you want, but if you're miserable with yourself, it's not going to do anything. But of course, you're like, F you, man, easy for you to say, I want the sex first and let me decide that. And I totally get that. I'm kind of the way with money. I'm not a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be rich and successful. And when all these people tell me, hey, money's not important, it doesn't make you happy. I get that. I really do get that. But at the same time, I kind of say to myself, let me see it for myself first, But anyway, seriously, man, listen to me. You're going to be all right. I got to go. Anyway, take care. God bless. Happy New Year and peace.